I welcome you onto Health Pot. Thank you, our esteemed viewers. It is a pleasure to have you seated this evening right there in your living room. All you who are watching us on our social media platforms, some of you are watching us on Facebook, Family TV Uganda, YouTube, Family TV Uganda, are right in that car going back home. Yes, what you're doing is actually the best. Every Friday at exactly 7, Health Port is right there, and you shouldn't miss any bit of it because we have packed a lot in this program which will actually benefit you. And guess who we have today? We have Dr. Amanda Murungi Eunice, a nutritionist and a specialist who is going to take us through. Yet, on the other hand, we also have Fatna Gilanda, who is actually our sign language interpreter. Well, doctor, I welcome you to HealthPort.
Thank you very much. Call me Amanda.
Okay, Amanda.
Yes.
You're most welcome to HealthPort.
Thank you.
And our esteemed viewers would wish to hear your voice.
Okay. Good evening, everyone watching. We hope you are okay, healthy, and keeping yourself safe. So I'm Amanda Murungi Eunice, and I'm a nutritionist practicing in Mulago National Referral Hospital in the nutrition unit.
Wow. So, Dr. Amanda, you're a nutritionist.
Yes.
And I kindly request that you take us through what the word nutrition means.
Okay. So nutrition, to our viewers at home, not the technical, it's it's all about food. Normally in school they tell us nutrition is the study of this and that, but what is important for us to know is that nutrition is about the kind of food that we can get, how we prepare it, then we consume it, and then how our bodies use it. Okay, so it's, for me, I always like defining nutrition as the whole chain, because all the steps in the chain until the time your body is using the food is very, very important. Yes, so that whole process is nutrition.
Oh. So that is nutrition.
Yeah.
Well, today we are going to look at what we call nutrition during preconception.
Yeah.
And maybe, Amanda, you'll also help us break down the word preconception.
Okay. So preconception is that period before a woman conceives a child, before you get pregnant. Okay? So it would be like, let me give an example of a farmer, because that one is very easy to understand. Before you go to plant your seed, we first prepare the land. We first remove the weeds, others spray the weeds off, prepare the garden, dig, in Luganda they call it amavunike or something like that. So you dig and prepare the land, so that when you plant the seeds, they are not choked by any weeds or anything. So that's preconception. That's the period before you conceive the child in your womb. Yes. So we're going to look at what is important for us in terms of nutrition. What should your nutrition status be like before you conceive a child? What are the best practices?
Actually, we must say that very many people undermine this. We don't take nutrition during preconception as something important. Yes. So I think you've now told us why it is important that we should actually consider it. Yeah. So maybe we shall first of all go through the procedures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is important?
Exactly.
So before conceiving, because it's always good to plan. It's always good to plan for the unborn child. Okay. And in preconception, it's a woman planning for the baby's health in the uterus. So you are feeding. What should you eat? What are the important nutrients that you need for your child to survive? Okay. So the first thing that is important is your nutrition status and your health status. It's important to know those two. So in terms of nutrition, health status, we're going to have a lot of experts coming to talk about it. You know, HIV and all these other diseases, diabetes, hypertension. But I'll talk about the nutrition status. So you need to know what is your weight for your height. Okay? And normally in clinics or hospitals or wherever it's done, we call it the body mass index. So you need to know, am I obese? Am I underweight? It's very important. So you need to correct that to the normal BMI. Okay? We shall have some cutoffs and illustrations that will be shown on how we're able to do this. So when you know your nutrition status, then it gives you a green light to go ahead, because we don't want people to be very underweight or undernourished to have a child, because it has effects, and there are generational effects that affect the child and then the children's children. So it goes generation to generation.
So maybe, Doctor, we shall first of all get to, you've talked about underweight.
Yes.
What is the suitable weight that maybe people would consent?
Yeah. So there will not be one suitable weight. We don't have one fits all, because we do the nutrition status for an individual. So it's the weight for your height. For a woman of childbearing age, it's the weight for your height. And when they get the weight for your height, then they're able to calculate your body mass index. Okay? And we have categories, those categories for body mass index that we will show. So it's not crammed that, you should be 50 kilos. No, it's for your height. So it's specific to that woman of childbearing age.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. What about the B?
The body mass index,
the
the
body
BMI.
Mass index, BMI.
Yes, we calculate it from your weight and your height. Okay? So when you go to the nearest, health facility, they're able to calculate it for you, the BMI. Once they take your height and your weight, then they will translate and give it to you.
I think now let us advise our would-be mothers out there to always follow these procedures before they actually think of conceiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any side effects if maybe someone doesn't go for all these checkups? What would happen?
Well, so one of the main issues, especially if you are, let's say, underweight, okay, the chances of you having a child, you will probably have a child that maybe can get these nutrient deficiency diseases or disorders, okay, which sometimes are malformations or congenital diseases, okay. You can get a baby that has low birth weight, okay, and that we shall talk a lot more when we reach nutrition in pregnancy, where we look at the nutrition and the outcomes. But one of the key nutrients, I don't know if maybe we'll talk about it when we're talking about what to eat, but one of the side effects of having a poor nutrition status is the high risk that the pregnancy will cause to you and then also the child. Okay, so one of our main issues is folic acid deficiency, where we have children that have what they get malformations in the spine as the spine is forming. Okay, and one of the issues are spina bifida. And where I work, we see at least 2 out of 10 mothers now coming with children that have spina bifida. Okay, and it's a congenital issue, and it affects the child, in the long term, and even in the short term. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think now we go to you've taken us through the role of nutrition, and then what should be eaten, maybe.
Yes. Okay. So everything that is clean and was put on earth by God is to be eaten. So what do we do right? What do we do wrong?
Exactly.
Yes. So our issues are, 1, moderation. Our meal plans. So normally we have, I want to talk about the foods and nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins and minerals. We have general food groups, 3 food groups. We have the bodybuilding food, the energy giving food, and the protective food. Okay, so in the bodybuilding food, that's where you would find there would be proteins. Okay, those are the animal and plant sources. What we normally eat as source, meat, chicken, beans, granules, peas, all that you normally eat as source. What do you eat as source? A bodybuilding food that
I must say beans.
Yes. So beans, okay? So those are the bodybuilding foods. Those are the protein foods, okay? Then we have the energy-giving foods, the posho, the rice, the sweet potatoes, the cassava, millet, and all those things. And then the protective foods, we have the fruits and the vegetables. So for every woman of childbearing age, or our mothers to be, we want you to eat food from each food group. Okay? Every time you're seated, we shall flash my plate. Every time you're seated, your plate should have those food groups. So now our issue is moderation. We have to moderate, and that goes back to our nutrition status. Okay? How are you underweight? Are you overweight? Because those different, the different nutrition status requires different interventions. So when you know early, then you know that, okay, this is how I'm supposed to design my meal, okay? But the other important thing is having iron and folic acid rich foods, okay? So let's eat plenty of vegetables and fruit, because we will get this folic acid and iron from these. The green leafy vegetables like dodo, sukuma, nakati, buga, all those different greens and vegetables. Make sure you have them on your plate as you're eating. Then,
so maybe, doctor, as we are breaking down the foods that you're supposed to eat, I didn't hear you talk about chips, I didn't hear you talk about burger, pizza, and today especially people of our age consider this as food. So is this of any importance to the body?
Okay, so these foods, we normally call them fast foods, okay? And currently our country and Africa at large, we are facing what they call the double burden of malnutrition, okay? Where we have a lot of people that are undernourished, and we still have a lot of people that are overnourished. And we are seeing this because we are having a transition. We are moving away from our local foods that we used to, our traditional indigenous food, and now we are adopting the more westernized, fast life kind of. So the burgers, the pizzas, and all those. And they are discouraged. They are discouraged because, one, they have high fat, okay? They have high salt, and some of those other fast foods are very high in sugars, which we don't want because they would cause us disease.
Doctor, we are going into a short break, but as we come back, we are going to start from the foods that we are supposed to eat, the foods that you recommend. You have told us about the vegetables. So we are going to start from there as we come back. We are going into a short commercial break. And Miss Not,
in which I lived by then, there was no nursery school in our area. We couldn't hear about them.
Those days, you would have basically 3 clothes. The one you use for everyday work, and then the one you keep for Sunday.
I asked some of my friends, whom I knew used to go to Chevambe every weekend. I tried to describe it. They said, we know that girl.
Things of this world really don't matter so much to me. Yes, I need them, but they really wouldn't take me away from God.
I was born under a mango tree, but the mango tree is since gone.
welcome back from that short commercial break. Before we went for a rest, we were looking at preconception and we are basically looking at nutrition during preconception. Before you conceive, what are you supposed to eat and what are you not supposed to eat? So that is what we are looking at. And remember, you're watching Health Pot. Amanda,
Yes.
before going for a commercial break, we were looking at, you were taking us through the foods that a would-be mother
Yeah.
should eat
Yeah.
and what they should not eat. And you had told us about, the vegetables. What else can they eat besides the vegetables?
Okay, so we had, before we went for the break, welcome back viewers, we had talked about eating
Yeah.
a nutritious meal.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had emphasized that we need to eat from the different food groups. If you remember, we had talked about the 3 food groups: the bodybuilding, energy giving, and
And then the protective.
Yes, and the protective foods. So the fruits and vegetables are in the protective. The thing, because I think now you've had, eat more fruits, eat vegetables to build immunity. So these are the protective foods. Okay, and these protective foods also give us what they call the micronutrients, the nutrients that are very important for our child's growth and development. So remember, we are preparing our ground. Like you would, when you're going to plant matoke, you first dig a hole, isn't it? Put some manure, cover leaf for some time. So that is what we are doing for our baby. Okay? So we are preparing our body because it will nurture the child. So one of the important nutrients we talked about were folic acid and iron, and they are in the protective foods. Okay, and we saw the danger of having low folic acid, and it's very tricky for preconception, and it's very, very important because we have a big percentage of mothers that get pregnant without preparation. Okay, or they will know that they are pregnant when they have missed their period. And in that time, normally maybe 28 days have passed, and already the embryo, what they call the embryo, is forming. Okay? And in that time, the spine is forming. And if it finds that you are deficient in this folic acid, then we'll get issues like we had talked about, spina bifida. Okay? So it's important that we eat the iron-rich foods, the folic acid, and all of those will be found in the vegetables. As long as, vegetables have different colors. So make sure your plate, as you're eating, is colorful. Don't have white and brown, for sure, and beans, okay? Have a very colorful plate because that means that you're picking nutrients from different foods, isn't it? Yes. So that's what we talked about. We emphasized that. Yes, so let's have food from the 3 food groups, and later we're going to look at some of these foods, and we look at how our plate should be organized, how our plate should be arranged. Because we also don't want to overeat, because overeating has dangers, and undereating also has, so it should be adequate.
I thought that overeating is caused by someone's appetite. If your appetite is high, then you will eat a lot.
But what are you eating a lot of? That's the important thing. Because for nutrition, it's balance. We balance, nutrient intake. Intake, what you eat, what is used, what is stored, what is excreted. Okay? So you have to balance. And every time you're eating, your food should be good quality. Good quality nutrients. And good quality nutrients is not expensive food. Okay? It's our, we'll look at an example of a plate. You can have a pumpkin, eat with beans and silverfish, and then eat dodo, okay? And have a glass of juice, passion, mango, whatever is available in season. That is a very good quality meal because it has good protein from our silverfish, our mukene, and beans. It has good carbohydrate from our pumpkin, and the pumpkin is orange. So it has even more vitamin A, the vitamins that are important. And our juice, then our dodo, that has the micronutrients in it.
So maybe, Doctor,
So-
we should also emphasize the way these foods are prepared. For example, if we talk about silverfish, or we talk about our greens, that dodo and all that, the way they are prepared,
Yeah.
maybe how they are prepared would also make them lose the nutrients.
That is very true.
Yeah.
So I will still talk about them in food groups. Let's start with the protective foods, the fruits and vegetables. The fruits and vegetables are packed and rich with vitamins, different vitamins and different minerals. But the most important group is the vitamin group. The vitamin group is very sensitive. It's sensitive to light, it's sensitive to heat, and it also can leach in water. For example, if you get greens and you cut them in small pieces and you wash them in water, your water will come out green. Okay? You're losing the water. There are vitamins that are water soluble that leach in the water. Okay? And then, so your preparation methods, depending on those different foods, should be very conservative, especially for the protective foods. The fruits, let's try as much as possible to eat them fresh. Okay? If we juice, let's not put a lot of water, a lot of sugar. Okay? It's even more encouraged to eat the fruit and drink the water. Because water is important also, we always forget it. We have to drink water, at least 3 liters. You know, we normally say 8 glasses per day. Okay, so these protective foods are also sensitive, I said, to heat. If you get your dodo, your nakati, your buga, and you fast fry it, and you keep it on heat, and you heat it extremely, you lose the vitamins that are sensitive to, that are destroyed by heat. So you only eat the fiber material in that
So you
food.
think you're eating the nutrient, yet in actual sense it is already lost.
It is already lost. So let's cook conservatively. Cook for very short, those vegetables, the ones that you need to cook, 10 minutes they are ready. Okay? And let's avoid cutting and then cook. Let's wash the vegetables, the leaves and all those, under clean running water. Wash and let the sand and soil pour out. So it should be over running water. And then you can cut and prepare. Yes.
Don't first cut, then wash.
You will lose the water soluble
Oh.
vitamins. Yes.
Okay. So, Amanda, what else does someone need to do, especially those who are preparing to conceive?
So the other thing you should do is to maintain a good nutrition status, we should do some physical activity. Okay? So physical activity is graded still. We have the vigorous, moderate, have our phones. These days people have smartphones. And they have these applications for physical activity. You're able to tell you how many steps have you taken, the health apps. So it's important for us to do some exercises to balance our energy. Because if we don't balance, then we get either a high energy balance or a low, which means you get obese, overweight, or you get completely underweight. So we have to do physical activity. It's very important. I think this year, was it beginning of this year, the president launched an initiative, presidential initiative on health, nutrition and physical activity. And you see him exercising.
We also have family fitness.
Okay.
So people can watch in every day, Monday to Friday, 5:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m.
That is very good.
Yeah.
So they should be able to tell, what are the different kind of exercises. I'm not an expert in that area. The family fitness program will help, but I know it's very important to do.
It is.
Then the other, we have to limit consumption of alcohol and these drugs, the addictive substances. We are seeing a lot of people engaging them in those kind of habits. A lot of cigarette smoking, a lot of alcohol, and all those things. All those things have an effect on the child that we will have. So we need to limit that. Yes.
Okay, so what about the environment?
Yeah.
Can't the environment also hinder your conceiving?
Well, the environment is, the first thing about the environment is our hygiene, sanitation. So one thing that I should note about nutrition is that nutrition is not a standalone. It's a multi-sectoral kind of sector. Everything affects nutrition. So the environment also does. So if our mothers to be are not clean, they are not hygienic, their area surrounding their environments at home, their homesteads are not clean, then they're at high risk of getting diseases, like diarrhea, typhoid, and all those, dysentery, all those diseases. And remember, we said our health status is important, okay? So all those things in the environment, if it's organisms, now it's COVID, we have to protect ourselves because it is within, okay? So all those things are very important for health status. So the key thing is your health and nutrition status.
Okay, so as we wind up
Yeah.
today, what advice would you give people out there,
Yeah.
especially the young ladies?
Yes.
Some are just new in marriage, some have been married for some time, but they
Yes.
feel it is now their time to conceive. So what advice would you give them?
So one, it's a good thing to have a child, and the most important thing is to have a healthy one and a healthy pregnancy. In order for you to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy child at the end of it, you have to prepare. It's the same thing as the garden. You have to prepare. Please visit the nearest health facility where you can, talk to a gynecologist, you can talk to a nutritionist. We have nutritionists now in most government health facilities. In the antenatal, you can go to the antenatal or any place that has maternal child health, okay? Ask them that you want to prepare to have a child. Let them check your health status, your nutrition status, and they will give you education. That's them. Then the other thing is have a balanced diet. The food groups we have talked about, okay? As you see them, make sure you consume from the different food groups. Drink plenty of water. Physical activity. Limit alcohol and these dangerous substances. And then prepare, because it's an exciting moment. Don't be stressed. Prepare and you'll have the baby.
All right. Thank you so much, Amanda. It has been actually nice interacting with you on this particular topic, nutrition during preconception. It is very important, and I believe you have learned a lot. Remember, this is Health Pot, coming unto you every Friday at exactly 7. So, like she has said, please let us do whatever they have told us to do if we want to live happily, if we want to enjoy our life. So I remain Adrian Austin Mukalazi, together with Fatna Galenda and then Amanda Murungi Eunice. But of course, behind the camera, there is Jonah Jal, the producer. There is Bantam in transmission. There is also Tony Santo, who is in charge of social media. So I wish you a good evening and a good night as well. We meet again next time. God bless you.
God bless you too.